All right, guys, we are back. It's another Sunday. Appreciate you joining as always. And tonight's topic is an interesting one for me because it was a hard decision week. I had a lot going on. I've got my mom. She's recovering. She's doing much better now. Today, over the last few days, she had some surgery, so that's been a challenge. There's been a lot of things going on at the gym, and we're kind of like a little sporadic in some of our direction. And we were talking about going to this event Thursday night, this past Thursday in St. Thomas, and Allison brought a really good point up on what to say when people come up and ask us questions about, well, when do you open? What are your hours going to be? And then we started talking about, like, are we going to give away a membership? Are we going to give away a hoodie? Are we going to mail it to them? The logistics of everything. And honestly, I didn't sleep at all Wednesday night very much from all of this stuff going on. And then I talked to Ryan at probably about 11:30, and I called him up. And I acted like a potential client that walked up to us at the table in St. Thomas. I said, "Hey, Fit Club, when are you opening?" And he hemmed and hawed, and he came out with the most hilarious reply, and it ended up with, "I don't know." And I said, "Okay, well, what are your hours going to be like?" And he hemmed and hawed and answered in the "I don't know" fashion. And right then and there, I started I laughed myself. I said, that's our first experience going to be with a new community that, won't know much about us, obviously, other than word of mouth, and we're just going to give I don't knows. And that's never been my way of doing things, and it just put me into reflection on what's ultimately the right decision to make here. So the morning of Thursday morning, message Allison, cancel the event. It has to happen. We can't go. We can't have that be our first experience. And the night prior, I had a lot of different thoughts about St. Thomas and everything like that. So the thought process, and I want to break it down based on reflection, and why it's so important to reflect, is that I started up thinking, okay, well, what is at risk, right? I have my goals. So, okay, potentially are my goals at risk? And I ruled that out as a no from the expansion to St. Thomas or not. If we go, my goals are still in front of me. If we don't go, my goals are still in front of me. So I took that one out of the equation, and I actually removed myself from it completely and thought, okay, so I have to make the important decisions. I have to make the big decisions and that kind of stuff, because this costs a lot of money. This costs a lot of time. This costs a lot of people some headaches, and put people in a position maybe they don't want to necessarily be in, such as trainers, et cetera, et cetera. And then I thought about all of you guys, and it also puts you guys at risk. So that really hit home, and it may not be completely relatable, this exact thing for you guys, but I want you guys to put yourself in your shoes where you've had these big decisions that you've had to make and pull the trigger, or maybe you didn't, and it led you down the path where I potentially saw Fit Club going. So let's fast forward. We get to St. Thomas, if we actually opened, and it doesn't produce what we thought it would. And not to say that it wouldn't or would, you don't know until you do it, that kind of thing. But how do you own or operate two locations with a team that you can't potentially pay them a salary based on one business can't float another business? And what happens if no one shows up, but we still have to be there? And how do I be in two places in the face of two different places and cities and this and that and all this kind of stuff? So then that comes back full circle and says, okay, so that puts London at risk. That puts all of our community at risk, for the fact that what if the doors shut in St. Thomas, even though the deal was pretty good, that kind of thing, but then the finances don't work out because we spread ourselves too thin in London. And then there's all the trainers that use the facility to make a living. And then there's my kids at home. There's so much stuff that was at risk that I had to make the decision to pull the plug. And I responded to most of the people that were really excited about St. Thomas. I even had one person purchase in London based on St. Thomas opening. And I offered them, a free month, that kind of thing in London, just to make up for it. And I understand that may be a discomfort, but guys, there's 200 plus people that would be affected if shit hit the fan. And I knew that the stress leading up to it and everything that I was like, I would get so stressed out that I wouldn't do anything. I actually wouldn't do any work because I'm so stressed out about thinking where the pieces are going to go. And that decision had to be made, even though I didn't want to make it, because there was this nice shiny, I compared it always to the shiny object in the water. When you're walking around, say you go to a lake or an ocean, and you see something really shiny, you're going to go over to that piece of whatever it is and pick it up and be like, oh, that's really cool, or you're attracted to it, right? So that's what St. Thomas was. It was, in my mind, I thought it was like something that could solve more problems. It could help more people. It was that goal of like, hey, I can get closer to helping 1,000 people because it's 2 locations, and if I get them running, like there were so many different things that were awesome and positive about it, but it's not the right decision. So I had to make the call to the developer, and he's halfway into the development of his building. He's been framing everything and that kind of stuff, but he hasn't fully designed our unit, whatnot. And I had to tell him, I'm like, this is what's happening. This can't go, I can't go forward with this. And it actually worked out really well because he just said, hey, that took pressure off of me to get that commercial unit done, because I was only really wanted to focus on residential right now in my building. So it kind of worked out quite well. But at the end of the day, I don't feel so suffocated anymore in knowing that I would have potentially have to open something up. And the impact that it has, just saying no and not going ahead, I think it's a very smart business decision. And it allows me to focus on the passion that we have here and the team that we have here and the group of people that we have here, because that's the end of the day, you can't give that up. So the reflection was the key point here. And I've talked to you guys about it, and I've done it myself. And this is a true test of exactly that. When I ran over the numbers and I had chats with everybody, you know, like around me and that kind of stuff, business people that are very successful, and they all said the same thing. They said, I think you're making a good decision, putting themselves in my shoes, and people that I trust that have done, you know, things that I look up to in different industries and stuff like that. So immediately following that decision, the door opened with my entrepreneur group saying that we're just going to run these videos once a month. You're going to have Be Real, you're going to have this, you're going to have that exposure. I'm going to invite you. I had another business transaction happen where we're going to do like a joint sponsorship in London of different things, that just to gain exposure. And that was immediately after the decision. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes these things can block you from your success. And Paige, she's a trainer, you guys have met her. I don't know if I can still see it, but she shared a story. I think it's old, it's over 24 hours now, but she shared a story, and it was a page, and she's very religious and attached to her faith like that. And something was shared to her, so she shared it, and it basically just said, sometimes growth and success is not visible right away. And it was like perfect timing that I saw that, because immediately after I started seeing doors open, and then Ryan and I launched our athlete program today, and it was fun. Like, he got to teach and lead these kids, and we're going back and forth, and we're just showing them a good program. And it brings me back to what I used to do as a kid, and train and run and play sports. And I loved it. I had a great time today. And it just goes to show that sometimes, you know, some things are too good to be true, or you really need to dig deep and evaluate what your true goals are. And I know I can hit my goals here in London. I know I can do that. I just wanted to be the big entrepreneur because there's pressure in the world to show that. And I don't care anymore. Like, that pressure is gone. I don't have to live up to something. I don't have to open multiple locations. I don't have to franchise this thing. I don't have to do any of that stuff. I just have to do what I want to do. And I want to help you guys more. So right after that, I got 5 people signed up for Firestarter. That's going to start, like, it's strange, they're all going to start April 1st, but they all came out now, and they're like, yes, I'm in. And then I think there's 11 people now signed up for that 75-day challenge, which is incredible. It costs nothing. Like, I've started the WhatsApp group. I'm going to add, Carrie, you just said you're in. I'm going to add you into it. we're just going to push each other. I think truly the community grows through these decisions, these learnings, and we'll just push each other, and it doesn't come at a cost. It's just, it's that momentum that ends up happening afterward. And I think it's really cool. And it only would have been probably decided, we probably would have went Thursday night against, I would have just went and decided, okay, after, it might not have been worth it or something if I didn't reflect. If I didn't listen to the warning signs, if I didn't clue into what Allison was getting to, if I didn't ask Ryan those questions and all that combination together. So the team truly is supportive. It's pretty cool what's happening. And yeah, I didn't want to risk it for you guys. Like, imagine, that'd be so stupid. The door's shut, the turf's closed. Like, I just can't see that happening, and I didn't want to put that out there. And this is what my livelihood, this is what I rely on, my hard work and the team and everything that's gone into this. And it's been 6 years and just not there yet. That's all. And if it ever comes, it comes. But if not, I'm okay with that. And Lisa, like, this goes back to our conversation. I'm going to unmute you if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
About your fear of retirement and stuff like that. I know I'm going to bring it up again, but it's like, if you think about that stuff and fear it, like, I know I was fearing the stress of opening St. Thomas, and it was crushing London. We weren't growing. Actually, if we look at statistics, week over week, Allison produces a statistic report for our meeting, and it shows our numbers. Our numbers were declining. That pressure was on everyone. The pressure was on Ryan. The pressure was on Allison. The pressure was on me. And that's top down, right? Like, it came, like, we were trying to grow the gym and we were actually declining. So wow. Having that fear, actually bringing out that problem, created it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and even since we had that conversation, I've had a whole new mindset, and I thought about things, and it's just, I'm okay now. Like, I don't worry about it as much as I did.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty crazy, the effects. Like, I get pretty emotional about it, just thinking, like, it's real, it's true, it's like, we're all human, we can all succumb to it. And like, I was trying to live up to this big bad entrepreneur, like, everybody wants to, like, it's stupid. Like, it doesn't matter. And I really, it hit me when I was sitting with my mom, because all she cared about was what others thought of her while on her bed to recovery. And it was, I truly don't know what was causing any of the issues, but I think it has everything to do with the fact that she was stressing herself out so much about it that it just kept causing more issues. And now today, like, the whole time her vitals have been okay, but she's had different things pop up that are strange and we don't know why, and all this stuff. And they don't understand it, but it's a surgery. She had a surgery, but she was just stressing about, like, my niece is 8. Well, what did Nora say? What did she say? And like, what's Sarah saying? Like, what's everybody saying? I'm like, they're all saying get better.
Yeah. That's
it. But she's over here worrying, not sleeping. My dad's not sleeping because she's not sleeping and causing trouble. And, it's just amazing that what we do, we can actually put ourselves into a position where we get sick or just shrink, right? It's like, someone at the gym today said, if I go out in the cold and run in the cold, I'm going to get a cold. I'm like, no, you're going to get a cold because you told yourself you're going to get a cold. The running outside doesn't get you sick. Temperature doesn't dictate that stuff. And it's a mindset. It's such a mindset. And it just drives me even further to be able to connect with each one of you guys to try to open up that mindset.
Yeah.
And to be able to deliver ultimately what you want. Every book I've read says, if you limit yourself in your head, you're going to be done. Like, you're not going to get what you want if you limit yourself inside your own mind. It doesn't talk about the hard work. It doesn't talk about the weights you lift. It doesn't talk about any of that stuff. It talks about what you actually believe will become you.
And negativity breeds negativity.
Absolutely. Like, we're all attracted to this group because we just don't want to get better. Whatever it may be, we just want to get better. Mm-hmm. I think that's why we keep coming back. So I keep coming back. I get better.
Absolutely. I've had a big change in myself.
It's crazy. It really is. Sam, I'm going to pull you on. You, my friend, you've changed.
Yes.
You're open to it now. You're open to your own success. Like, Sam sent me a message and she said that her husband wants to get involved somehow. We're going to figure that out. He wants to get into better shape and that kind of stuff. I could truly feel the emotion through the text message that you were so happy. Like, yep. You said finally he wants to, get involved somehow in his own health. And I'm not saying that has held you back, but maybe it has. Maybe it's held you from some of your success because you're putting all your energy into someone else's.
Yeah, I worry about, like, obviously my husband and my son. So I want them to be, like, if I'm getting healthy, I want them to be healthy with me. And it's easier if we're all doing it as a family, but it's hard because I have to differentiate, like, between telling them what to do and, like, getting them to want to do it.
Yeah. Like I've had this conversation with some people before, and it's like, we can tell everybody to do something, and whether they do it or not is like a whole different thing, right? If you have a conversation where it's like, what do you get out of it? And you turn it around on them and make them choose, it's different, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we can't get anybody to do anything we want them to do unless they want to do it. And if they don't want to do it, you can't stop your own.
No.
I think I used this one time, and definitely used it in a session. I said, you have to grab your oxygen mask first on the airplane. This is the same thing. If you lead, people will follow. But if you tell people, all it's going to create is somebody that no one wants to listen to. Right?
Yeah.
You have to walk with them, and you have to focus on your own journey. And I think this is a huge turning point for you, where you've decided, you've signed up with Candace, you've gone through personal training programs and that kind of stuff, but your mind's a little different on this one.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And you realize that based on reflection and the fact that you want to support yourself more, you want to have more self-love, you've connected, I know, with Jen, and it's a back and forth. You guys are serving each other and helping each other. I think that's a great thing. I think it's new. I think it's fresh, and it's something that you could really take advantage of. So don't underestimate the power of what's going on, I hope Sam heard that. That's where you say yes.
Oh, yes. And yes, I agree.
All right. Carrie asked how many kids were there today at the session. There's, I think there were 6. There's a bunch that still aren't convinced, but a couple of them are coming out on Tuesday because they didn't want to go through Ryan's conditioning class. It wasn't good. It was tough. It was tough watching it even. But no, it was a great day, and it was a turning point, I think, for both of us together, where we're actually teaming up on something together, rather than being kind of separate on it. So it's pretty cool what happened today there. Yeah. So guys, honestly, it was an interesting week. I read across all those messages, those follow-ups on Friday. Carrie, I think you had one of the largest participations on the Friday follow-up this week. I don't know what it was. I know there was a full moon prior to the Friday. I think it was on Tuesday or something. Apparently that screws shit around on the earth, right? So I don't know if that's what it is. But I like it. I like seeing that. I like reading everybody's follow-ups. I think it has nothing to do with, like what I get out of it. For me, it's just the fact that we all get to go somewhere, post, and then reflect. And whether you read other people's stuff or not, then you can relate. You can help them potentially. You can chime in. There's comments going back and forth. I think it's great. It's a great tool for reflection. I think it's awesome. The fact that every Monday without fail and every Friday without fail, there's those 2 pillars that stand tall and continue. And I can remember back when not very many people were commenting on the Friday, and I said, well, you just got to keep doing it. You just got to keep doing it. It doesn't matter about who, it's about sometimes other people start. And I'm getting messages now that said I need to participate more in the inner circle. And I can tell you why these messages are starting to happen is because they're looking around and they're seeing success based on the people that participate. You're participating in your own life. That's what you're doing. You're not just a spectator of the things you're going through in your life. You're actually participating consciously in the things that you're doing, and you're being present. It's pretty cool. Sabrina, did you start Sunday prep day or something? Is that new?
Not new, just some days I'm more into it than others. This week was a good one.
This week was a good one.
Yeah. I was on a roll.
I'm going to share a secret with you guys all about prep. Seeing that you're almost everybody's in the London area except Vanessa. Superstore has ground chicken on sale. It's very cheap for prep. See? Look at that. And chicken breasts, boneless, skinless chicken breasts. They're on sale right now. $3 for ground chicken, and then I don't know if it's like got a day left, but I'm going to freeze it and eat it. But
last time they were on sale at Freshco, it was limited to 2, and I went back like every day and bought them.
I don't understand why they limit it to 2. If I'm in business, I just want to sell it all. Like,
yeah.
I don't get it. But anyways, those are your 2 deals for the day right there. I like the Sunday prep. If people want to keep that going, fire it off, because it motivates me to prep. It motivates other people to get going on it because they do see it happening, right? We bring it into our universe. It becomes real. I like that. Just another thing that we could do. That's it from me. Pretty crazy week. I'm going to try to get back up to the hospital. My mom's not out yet, but she's on the mend, so that's good. It's going to be a good week. The protein's coming in soon. The labels are almost done, and I guess once the labels are done, it's only a matter of the shipping, getting it to London and packed in the containers, which doesn't take long. So that's cool. Lots of good things happen when you make the right decision. And it's a lot less work that Allison has to worry about. So it's all good. Anybody have any comments, some reflection that you did this week on your own? You can unmute. If not, I'll give you 10 seconds here to unmute. Otherwise, it's off to bed early. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Night.